Welcome all of you to this live program at Orthopedic Principles. Today, our guest of honor is Mr. Harry Benjamin Lang from the United Kingdom. Mr. Lang is a consultant hand and wrist surgeon at the Milton Keynes University Teaching Hospital at Eagleston in the United Kingdom. He completed his specialist training on the Northwest Mercy rotation, obtaining his CCD in 2022, followed by advanced fellowships at the Wrighting Hospital in the United Kingdom. Mr. Benjamin Lang has a strong interest in medical education, contributing to peer-reviewed publications, textbooks, and presentations at the national and international conferences. He founded the Orth Inmate Orthopedic Education YouTube channel, supporting FRCS Orth exam trainees. His leadership potential has been recognized through his selection as the British Orthopedic Association Future Leader Candidate and awards like the Frostic Foundation grant. So today is my great honor to introduce you Mr. Harry Benjamin Lang from the United Kingdom. Over to you, Harry.
Thank you very much, Professor Gopalan. It's a pleasure to be here and wonderful to be involved with orthopedic principles. This is something that, has helped me during my training and is fantastic. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'll start with my presentation.
Sure.
Creator and founder of Orthmate. I'm also a consultant trauma and orthopedic hand surgeon in Milton Keynes University Hospital in the UK. Today, I'm grateful for the opportunity to present my top 10 tips for drawing in the FRCS exam, as well as 10 must-know diagrams. I create
Harry, I can't hear you. Harry, your voice isn't audible.
You're asked to draw something. Can you hear now? However, in order to pass the exam, you need to demonstrate mastery, and drawing enables you to clarify complex concepts quickly. Drawing has been found to have cognitive benefits by engaging multiple brain regions simultaneously, as well as enhancing memory and spatial understanding. Research evidence suggested that drawing facilitates retention through elaboration and has been found to be superior to writing and viewing pictures. It also has visual processing benefits and remains intact during aging. The quote on the slide from Scaife and Rogers highlights this key benefit of drawing as an elaborative learning strategy. The key point here is that paraphrasing definitions like drawing requires self-generated elaboration, which leads to comparable performance as verbatim writing. The physical act of creating the drawing reinforces neural pathways and helps cement learning. Visual encoding information through drawing creates strong memory cues that can be recalled later. Drawing forces students to elaborate on concepts and develop a deeper, more nuanced understanding. Drawing engages multiple cognitive processes that aid in encoding and retaining information more effectively than passive methods like writing or visualizing. Tip number 1, recognize patterns. My first tip for drawing is recognize patterns. Practice pattern recognition, develop visual shortcuts, and identify common shapes. For example, the anatomy of the radial nerve. The radial nerve arises from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus, crosses the posterior wall of the axilla, giving off 3 branches in the axilla, then enters the posterior compartment of the arm via the triangular interval through the spiral groove in the posterior compartment. It gives off 4 branches before passing through the lateral intermuscular septum to enter the anterior compartment and descend between brachioradialis and brachialis. It divides into PIN and superficial radial nerve, then gives off 5 branches as it passes down the forearm and crosses the APL before supplying the 6 terminal muscles. For me, this reminds me of the PlayStation. There are 5 parts divided by 4 shapes: a triangle, a circle, a square, and a cross. The branching pattern is 3, 4, 5, 6. This looks like this and can be drawn quickly in less than 40 seconds. Once learnt through repeated practice, and then you can focus on the clinically relevant anatomy. Add in the sites of compression, and then you can easily work out the deficits dependent on the level of compression or injury. You can see the triangle shows the triangular interval, the lateral intermuscular septum shown by a circle, the arcade of Frosch a square, and where it crosses the APL as an X. Tip number 2, learn to draw before talking. Draw the framework first and then organize your thoughts and explain while adding complexity. Tip number 3, draw big. This makes it easy for the examiners to see and gives you space for details. It also demonstrates confidence. This is how large the diagram should be relative to the page, and it leaves space for labels. Tip number 4, use schematic diagrams. This simplifies complex anatomy, emphasizes key points, and uses basic shapes. On the left, you can see the normal anatomy of the leg compartments, and then a schematic version on the right. Personalize the drawing and develop your style. Add clinical insights and integrate memory aids.
But she didn't do anything. She didn't tie it in a big knot.
Use clear labels to orientate the
She
examiner.
did it nicely. To a tree or something.
Tip number 7, put a timer on it. Once you have perfected the diagram, put a timer on it and practice drawing quickly under pressure. Aim for 60 to 90 seconds. Leave time for further discussion. Tip number 8, talk while you draw. Once you have mastered the drawing, practice talking whilst you draw. Start with framework, narrate while drawing, highlight clinical significance, and summarize the key points.
I don't need it, right?
Tip number 9, practice efficiently. Record yourself, draw whilst talking to patients
Yes.
and explaining in
There's
clinic.
only one answer.
And the final tip is don't draw upside down. Make sure you're comfortably positioned, face the examiner, and maintain eye contact as much as possible. Now for the 10 must-know diagrams, I have tried to include a broad spectrum of topics, but there are much more on the Orthmate website and also on the YouTube channel. Okay. Number 1 is compartments of the leg. This can be part of an open or closed tibial fracture scenario or a polytrauma. You need to be able to demonstrate the 4 compartments with the nerves and blood vessels in each, as shown in the diagram. So you can see the tibia and fibula, and then you have the anterior, posterior, superficial and deep compartments, and then the lateral compartments.
Maybe when I drop them off, either way.
Sure. And the muscles that are contained within it. Next, you would need to be able to talk about your two-incision approach for fasciotomy and identify which structures need to be preserved. In patients with Dupuytren's, you may either do a Brunner's or a longitudinal incision, in which case you might need to do a Z-plasty by creating 60-degree angles in order to achieve lengthening of 75%. For flexor tendon zone 2 injuries, you may be asked how you would do a tendon repair. You can talk about the core modified Kessler and epitendinous sutures in order to resist gap formation during healing. On the right, you can see the diagram showing the modified Kessler. Usually, a 4 to 6 strand repair is sufficient. Or you can use an Adelaide. Whichever one you choose, you should be able to draw. With basic science, you might be asked about the structure of tendons and how they fail under load. You must be able to draw the load elongation graph, showing the load on one axis, the elongation on the other axis, and then the curve. So you have the toe region, the linear region, and then the failure region. You might be shown an implant and a non-union of a fracture, with the implant experiencing fatigue failure after reaching its endurance limit. On the y-axis, you have stress, and on the x-axis, you have the number of cycles to failure. And you can see the curve showing the endurance limit or fatigue limit.
How's my boy?
Looking at tension band principles is a useful one for tension band wiring of olecranons or patellas, or even medial malleoli. And it's useful to be able to demonstrate conversion of tensile forces to compressive forces.
You look and you sound. And you're my perfect.
Diagram 8 shows the structure of articular cartilage with the different layers and enables the explanation of microfracture techniques in cartilage defects. You can see the superficial, the middle, the deep layer, the tide mark, and the subchondral bone. When considering meniscal repair, you can talk about the red-red zone, the red-white zone, and the white-white zone. If you have a tear, you need to consider whether this is in the circumferential fibers or in the radial fibers, and whether it's better to debride or repair. And finally, the spinal nerve roots. It's very easy to explain which nerve roots are affected depending on the size and the location of the disc prolapse. You can see the exiting and then the transiting nerves. This is very common at L4, L5 level. My advice is to practice diagrams 10 minutes a day. Aim for 60 seconds and focus on the high yield diagrams.
The on button.
I would strongly advise having a study group and taking it in turns to assess each other. Simulate exam conditions, and you can even record sessions and standardize the feedback.
Just take on and off.
If you're looking for more diagrams, you can go to the Orthomate website at www.orthom8.com. to gain access to the online book that has 50 plus diagrams. You can also access Hot Fivers, a fly on the wall guide to the FRCS
The button went
Orth
out.
Fiver.
Hello, everyone. Are you preparing for the FRCS Orth Viva exam and wondering how to tackle it with confidence? Well, we've got something amazing to share with you. Hot Vivers, tips and tricks to ace the exam.
That's right. This is the ultimate guide, created by consultant orthopedic surgeons Harry Benjamin Lang and Nick Sharma. They are passionate about orthopedic education, and they put together a course that's not just informative, but also really engaging.
What makes Hot Vivers stand out is its unique approach. It's an animation-based course, designed like a fly-on-the-wall experience. You'll feel like you're right there in the exam room, watching how to ace the Viva Voce.
Let's talk about what's included. The course is packed with 4 comprehensive modules. First up, we've got Understanding the FRCS or Viva. This module breaks down the exam format, the scoring system, and, get this, it pinpoints the most common mistakes candidates make, along with strategies to avoid them.
And that's just the start. The second module dives into preparation strategies. Whether you need help with revision techniques, structuring a study plan, or finding the right resources, this module has got you covered. Plus, it includes mock exams and practice questions to help you feel exam ready.
Mock exams. They are an absolute game changer. But let's not forget the third module, Tips to Master the Viva Voce. This one's all about how to handle tough questions and properly understand the Viva dynamics.
It's all about building confidence and showcasing your knowledge effectively. And then comes the cherry on top, the fourth module. This is where the magic really happens.
Spot on. The fourth module features animated scenarios presented as a quiz. You'll watch real lifelike examiner candidate interactions and then get key points and stories highlighted under the videos. It's a brilliant way to not only learn the techniques, but also make sure the knowledge sticks.
Here's a sneak preview.
Hello, this is your orthopedic hand and pediatric Viva station. You have 5 minutes. You are the orthopedic consultant. This 10-year-old boy with a limp complaining of knee pain. Here is his x-ray.
Have you been for analysis? This is a AP lateral vertebral.
This course doesn't just teach, it transforms your preparation. It's designed to help you reach your full potential and absolutely excel in the exam.
So, whether you're feeling nervous about the Viva Voce or just want to refine your strategies, Hot Vivers is the perfect companion. Well, what are you waiting for? Click the link and start your journey to FRCS with success today. You won't regret it.
Because I've had a full week of work since then.
So in summary, drawing effectively is a crucial skill for FRCS success and clinical practice. Regular practice with peer feedback will dramatically improve your performance in the examination. Your ability to clearly communicate through drawing can make the difference between passing and excelling in your FRCS exam.
Thank you, Harry. Nice animation videos. Harry, I just want to get your views on some of the other common diagrams. You have mentioned few. What are the other common diagrams that have been asked for the exam?
Oh yeah, so there's the obvious ones like the free body diagrams, so that can be hip, shoulder, elbow, patella. So those are the really obvious ones that can be asked in the Viva exam. And you really have to just know them. And I remember I think Rishi did a video on that with you.
Yeah.
So that's probably a really important one to really have a good grasp on. But obviously you have to use diagrams for things like flexor tendon repairs and, articular cartilage, the Solanius and Venka graphs, things like that as well.
And cross-section of the nerve, right? Peripheral nerve.
Oh yes, absolutely. So epineural, endoneural, perineural, you need to know all of those. Yeah. Yes.
And anything for the knee? Interesting
The
in the
knee.
knee.
Yeah, so
Meniscal anatomy, you said?
yeah, meniscal anatomy. Sometimes they show a cross-section of the knee. So you have to be able to point out whether it's the lateral meniscus, where the medial meniscus is, where the insertion and origin of the ACL and PCL, the ligaments as well. You need to kind of understand all of those and be able to describe them in a cross-sectional diagram.
And these diagrams are typically part of the vivas, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You don't get it in any of the part one.
So you need to know the knowledge for part one. So certainly in the part one, it's single best answer now. It was multiple choice in my day, but single best answer, and therefore the knowledge it's the whole syllabus. Yeah, so you need to know the anatomy certainly.
Thank you, Harry. I think that's all the questions we have for this session. I think I should be able to host you once again with a lot more diagrams.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. There's also a discount, a 10% discount for orthopedic principles. I can show
You can check.
the what's it called, the discount code just there.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
you can scan the QR code
Sure.
and that will give you guys a discount. I'm really happy to work with orthopedic principles and we're happy to give any candidates who are interested in our courses a discount.
Wonderful. No worries. Thank you so much, Harry. Goodbye.